Okay, this lesson is on adding, subtracting, and multiplying polynomials. So this is the first lesson here in the polynomials unit, and this is a pretty basic one. It might seem sort of similar to maybe some of the things you did in Algebra 1, but nonetheless, we're going to do it. There are some things that I'm going to show you that you need to avoid when doing this. Some common mistakes that are made when doing this so that hopefully you don't make the same mistakes. We're going to start off with adding and subtracting. Adding and subtracting is pretty straightforward when you're dealing with polynomials. So when we look at, let's say for example, adding, when you are adding two different polynomials, you essentially are combining like terms. For example, this would add to this because they're like terms. So what you're really doing is negative 4x squared, and then you use this plus sign there. Negative 4x squared plus negative x squared is negative 5x squared. And then I advise that you cross them out as you go so that you don't forget any or don't use them twice. The next thing is negative 6x plus 7x, which gives you plus 1x or just plus x. Cross out, and 18 plus 8 is 26. That really is it. Don't try to do anything else. Don't try to factor it. Don't try to solve it in any way. That's literally all you do. Add, subtract, you just combine like terms. So that's adding. So let's look at one that's subtracting. You always have to be conscious of this operation that is in the middle. So when I do 6x squared and negative x squared, I have to be conscious that it's 6x squared minus negative x squared. So essentially there's a double negative here that will change to a positive. So that's 6x squared plus x squared. That is a very common mistake that kids make. They only see one minus sign and not two of them, making it positive. Cross them out because I'm done. Negative 12x minus 24x is negative 36x. Cross them out. 48 minus negative 63. Again, you have a double negative here. So it's going to be plus 63, which is plus 111. That's it. That is literally adding and subtracting. If you'd like to, go ahead and pause the video and see if you can try this one, this subtraction problem. Play the video when you're ready to see the answer. Okay, so there's the answer. One of the things that you might have noticed is that the negative 11x to the fourth, and your double negative here turning to a positive 11x to the fourth, is that the x to the fourths actually cancel out. So there is none. And then the negative x to the third over here did not have anything to combine with, so it just sort of just comes down. And then you went around the rest of them subtracting. Be careful with those double negatives. That's probably one of the most common mistakes that are made when doing this. So that's adding and subtracting. Now on to multiplication. Multiplication is a little bit more challenging. Okay? You're going to have to remember back to your days when you were in Algebra 1 and you were doing FOIL and stuff like that, or where you're doing the super distributor, or whatever your teacher called it. But whenever you do multiplication, you have to do every term times every term. So this term has to go to here, and then here, and then here, and then there. So let's do one at a time. 2x times 2x to the third. 2x squared times 2x to the third. In multiplication, coefficients multiply like normal, so 2 times 2 is 4. But exponents, when multiplying, get added. So x squared and x to the third actually make x to the fifth. Then we do the next one. 2x squared times negative x squared. Well, again, the coefficients of 2 and negative 1 multiply to make negative 2, and the exponents get added. 2 times 3 is 6. X squared and x make x to the third. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. X squared and nothing is x squared. And that's it. Do not try to combine them, factor them, whatever it is that you try to do whenever you feel like that's not the answer. That's it. Okay? So, sometimes you get problems like this where you have multiple things. I have this that needs to be multiplied to this that needs to be multiplied to this. Now, the problem is that you can only do 2 at a time when you're multiplying. When you are distributing, you can only distribute to 2 at a time. You can't do this times this all at the same time. It just doesn't work. So what I usually do is sort of make a wall. Yes, make a wall. Okay, and then multiply 2 at a time. And then we'll bring in the x to the 6th later. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 2 is negative 2x. 1 times x is 1x. And 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Now I'm going to combine these real quick to make this a little bit easier. So I have x squared, negative 2x, and x make negative x minus 2. So now that is going to be multiplied by the third term of x plus 6. Okay. So now I have to do all these multiplied to each other. Everything on the left one needs to be multiplied to everything on the right one. So x squared times x is x to the third. X squared times 6 is 6x squared. Negative x times x is negative x squared. Negative x times 6 is negative 6x. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. And negative 2 times 6 is negative 12. Finally, all I have to do is combine like terms. I have those and those. So I have x to the third. 6x squared minus x squared is 5x squared. Negative 6x and negative 2x is negative 8x. And negative 12. That's it. That's multiplying. There are a couple ways that this can look. You could see something like this, where it's 2v minus 1 to the third. You have to remember what 2v minus 1 to the third means. It means there's actually 3 of them. It means that it's 2v minus 1 times 2v minus 1 times 2v minus 1. And then you would multiply that out just like we did in the previous problem. Same thing here, 4x minus 2 squared means that there's 2 of them, so it's 4x minus 2 twice. Then the x plus 3. So you would multiply these first and then multiply the third one last. So there's not really much to multiplication, it's all pretty much the same thing. You can go through and do a few of these with practice. Or you can move on to big ideas and do some of the practice there. Let's see. Why don't we do this one here for practice? If you want to, go ahead. If not, just stop the video and go to big ideas and try some of the practice there. But if you want to, pause the video and try to do this multiplying problem first. Okay, there's the answer. Let me sort of zoom out here so you can see all of the work. But we already split it here. Remember, I can only do 2 at a time. So I did these. 2v times 2v is 4v squared. 2v times negative 1 is here. Negative 1 times 2v is here, and negative 1 times negative 1 is here. I combined the middle terms because they're like terms into negative 4v. And I had now this times the last one here. This times this is this, 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 this times this is this. Combine like terms again, and I got a final answer of that. That's it. That's multiplying. Again, try the practice and big ideas. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.